Greetings and welcome to you today for our daily Devo on this Monday, the 27th of May. Our devotion this morning is entitled Childhood Innocence, and it's half of it's written by Charles Dickens from it's an excerpt from a writing of his entitled The Old Curiosity Shop. Childhood Innocence. "You must be tired, sir," said he as he placed a chair near the fire. "How can I thank you?" "By taking more care of your grandchild, my good friend," I replied. "More care," said the old man in a shrill voice. "More care of Nellie?" He said this with such evident surprise that I was perplexed what answer to make. "I don't think you consider," I began. "I don't consider," cried the old man, interrupting me. "I don't consider her? Ah, how little you know of the truth." While we were sitting thus, the door of the closet opened and the child returned. She buried herself immediately in preparing supper, and I was surprised to see that everything was done by the child, and that there appeared to be no other persons but ourselves in the house. I took advantage of a moment when she was absent to venture a hint on this point, to which the old man replied that there were few grown persons as trustworthy or as careful as she. "It always grieves me," I observed, "to contemplate the initiation of children into the ways of life when they are scarcely more than infants. It checks their confidence and simplicity, two of the best qualities that heaven gives them, and demands that they share our sorrows before they are capable of entering into our enjoyments." And now, some thoughts from Gene Fisher. Little Nell, a child not yet 14 years of age, was forced to grow up too soon while caring for her grandfather, the owner of the old curiosity shop. Not only did she care for the old man day and night, but Nell was forced to live with him as a pauper in the streets of London after a bad debt cost her grandfather his shop. Nell's story is a sad one and a prime example of Victorian sentimentality in the literature of Dickens's time. When we read about Dickens says about a child's confidence and simplicity being taken away too soon, we might be reminded of what Jesus said in Matthew 18, verses 3 and 4. "Unless you are converted and become as little children, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself as the little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." Jesus recognized the pure simplicity and innocence of a child's faith, untarnished by the issues of adulthood. He warned us against allowing our straightforward faith in God to be commandeered by the world. Has your faith been compromised by worldly demands? Or is it rooted in childlike humility? Remember, it is always possible for you to approach God with the unwavering faith of a child. Luke 10:21, "I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned and revealed them to little children." That's a brief prayer that Jesus himself prayed as he went around doing miracles, teaching incredible things that people took note of right away. He doesn't teach like the leaders of our day. He seems to know this truth, have a source of this truth. So they trusted him. When those who saw that in him put themselves, their lives in their hands, it was the same as when children trust their parents. And it is sad when children come into families and they don't experience that. They can become hard soon. When you think of people raising their families in places like Ukraine, like Afghanistan, like the Middle East in many places, the children have grown up way too quickly, if they've even been a chance to grow up at all. The Lord sees something in children. There's an innocence there. They have not yet been twisted and marred by this world. And so there's a gleam in their eyes. There's nothing I like more than seeing children with smiles on their faces and enjoying themselves, not by adult standards, but by children's standards. When Jesus taught his disciples to pray, and he would teach us to pray, we start with our Father. We're encouraged to refer to him as Abba, just a very personal, childlike name for the Father. Childhood innocence is a good thing. It's sad that we often lose it. But if we keep casting our care on him, knowing he cares for us, if we keep trusting him with everything, which is pretty much the picture of Matthew 6, and he puts the distinction between those who worry all the time and those who put their trust and faith in the Lord for whatever they need, to supply their needs, to care for them, which is what, when we were children, we expected from our parents as well. Childhood innocence, it's a real gift. Don't lose it. Blessings to you today.